Welcome to They Said. It's Monday, June 9th.
That's it.
Ninth.
That's it.
Yeah. Hi. I'm in a different spot today.
Yeah. It's weird. You're in the same spot.
Yeah.
But you always sit right. You always sit right there, huh?
Well, they didn't realize.
Well, like on the edge, like we were talking about this.
This is just so you guys know. It's all like Liz stays in the spot. We have to like arrange.
We have to arrange around.
That is not true. First of all,
I think it is.
He's the diva.
If I was there, we would have tall. If I moved over there, it would be tall. I mean.
I came here on Friday night. I was out and I stopped and talked to Dustin outside for like 45 minutes. And we were talking about how where I'm sitting, probably it's, I swear it's that light is way brighter
There was
than the
a
other
They
ones.
Said meeting and I wasn't
But
there.
I don't just look pale, I look
It's like my softball team.
ill when I'm sitting here in that light. It's like green. Do you watch the show?
I do watch the show.
I look like I should be on like the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland.
Sometimes watch the show. I can't always. I don't like the way my voice sounds. I know. It's just.
That's
exactly what he said.
Which is why I don't like talk on the phone either. I'll FaceTime.
Yeah,
but
listening to your voicemail. You
It's
like your own voicemail box the first time, or like yourself leaving a voicemail somewhere. You're like,
I know.
your voice is not that deep.
I wish that was my problem. I like when I was applying for jobs, I knew they're gonna call in and they probably try to schedule an appointment. They're gonna hear like, "Hey, it's Liz." I know it sounds like that, so I'm like, "Oh fuck!" That's why I hate it. I hate talking on the phone. I really do. But you can catch me on Chrome or Chrome. All right, you can catch me on FaceTime or something. That's a lot easier. That's a lot easier for me.
I FaceTime all the time. It's way more
FaceTime
fun.
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too because I remember as a kid that was the thing of the future when I was like in 6th grade, and this was like 1986 I think, and I remember seeing pictures of what they said talking on telephone TV screens would be like in the future, and it was always like actually like an iPad was what those pictures looked like, and you always thought about that, but when it finally started happening, maybe not even 5 years ago when FaceTime first came out.
I don't know.
I mean, we had Messenger forever, but
Well, it was more than that. But originally when it came out, you could only do it over Wi-Fi.
right.
Yeah.
Like, because the iPhone was the first one to be able to do it, and you can only do it while you're on Wi-Fi. And then, as the networks got better and everything, then you're able to do it on 3G with like one of the newer phones, which might have been like, I don't know, that might have started with the iPhone 3. Like, it might have been that late. Like,
Yeah, it wasn't the first iPhone.
no.
What do you think is next?
Being able to smell through the phone is going to be terrible. Talk on the phone way too much when I'm on the toilet for that to be effective.
Oh. Did you have Colimas?
So Julian, who's our bartender here, he's one of my best friends as well. Calls me randomly or whatever, but like the past 3 or 4 times he's FaceTimed me. I've been on the toilet.
No.
And
He knows you. He knows your body.
he's in my bathroom, so he knows like the poster that's up above my toilet. So I answer, and he's like, "Are you always taking a shit?" And I'm like, "No, you just happened to call me right then." I'm like, "I wake up at 1. You're calling me at like 1:45. Like that's my like morning poop or whatever." I'm like, you need to relax and wait another half hour. Not really half hour, but.
Which reminds me, when you go to hotels, then it seems weird to me that they would have a phone in the restroom.
It's in case you fall off and you get hurt.
Is that really?
Yeah.
So you grab the phone cord and
You
climb
grab
your
the
way
phone
out?
and you say, "Help! I fell off the toilet.
I thought
Somebody
it-
come help me."
I thought it was for it to be like, hello, room service?
I need more bubbly oil.
In the tub.
Yeah, some phones can reach the tub, I'd assume. Depends on the size of the bathroom.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I don't use the phone and whatever. You don't like listening to yourself on that. It's just.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
creeps
Not
me out.
watching the show.
It just yeah, but I do watch it, and
But I was asking if you knew that I looked ill when I'm on.
I never noticed that.
Because you look good. That's why you don't care.
No,
You're just
no.
pale.
I'm not that pale.
We can move it around.
though.
Let's move it around. We can always move things around.
Can
change
we
it.
like
Why not?
switch next week? We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
let's try that.
I just.
Musical chairs.
I want to have a drag episode. We should do like a drag episode where we all come in drag and sit here and read Kiki.
and have Kiki come up dressed like a boy.
Oh, yeah.
We had a drag show at the HYC a few weeks ago, like not really a drag show, but like some performances, and there was some drag kings there, and I was totally inspired.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Were they like, whenever I hear drag kings, they always seem to follow a stereotype.
Okay, what was it? What did you say?
They always come off as Elvis. Every time I see them. For real, whenever I see they
there
always
was
have
my
this,
whole
this
idea.
side.
No, they weren't. The one that I saw, she was doing a lot of, or he was doing a lot of like classic rock stuff. Like not Elvis classic rock. I'm talking like 80s like hair metal like bands.
Like Rat.
What?
Round and round.
No, I guess more like John Mellencamp kind of stuff
Oh.
too. I don't know.
John
Maybe that was
Cougar.
classic rock.
I love John Cougar. He was fun too. How was y'all's weekend? Anything go down? Anything happen? Other than the They Said meeting I didn't know about?
Yeah. Other than that,
was
mine was
random.
fine. It was my dad's birthday. So we had a little barbecue.
Happy birthday, Dustin's dad.
He's watched the show before, actually, which is
Oh.
funny. Never know when he's going to watch or anything, but it's always funny. But no, it was fun. We just went and had a little barbecue, everything like that. Got to hang out with my niece and nephew. It's always fun. And other than that, I was working and just being excited, getting ready for the World Cup to start.
World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
When is it?
It's Thursday, so
What time of day is this now?
this time it's actually so much nicer. The games are at 9 a.m., noon, and 3 p.m., which is very watchable compared to the last World Cup where it was like 3 a.m., 6 a.m., and 9 a.m. or
Yeah.
something. So it was like I'd get home from work after working at the bar, take a shower, and be like, oh, turn the game on.
I forgot where it was last time. Was it
South Africa
was
last time.
South Africa? Okay.
Now it's in Brazil.
Brazil. All right. Hey, Brazil's really lucking out this time though, because they got that, and then they have the Olympics coming up.
Yep.
And
And One Direction just got there for the first time. They hadn't had him yet last month.
just
It's a big deal.
Agree.
I mean, seeing a lot of reports about how Brazil is just corrupt and falling apart and all this.
I think this is a good time to kind of like hopefully shine a light on Brazil, and hopefully they change because of it, because all eyes of the world are going to be on them for this whole month of like June to halfway through July, and then in 2 years again for the Olympics. So I know the World Cup and Olympics bring in a bunch of income into the country, so hopefully they're able to shape up and everything. But at the same time, like if there's any issues that happen during the World Cup, they basically already said they're going to take the Olympics away from them. Like if there's any safety issues or anything like that, because that's the biggest worry going into it, because there has been issues at Brazilian football matches before of referees that have been killed
Oh yeah.
and things
There was
like
a player killed once, wasn't there?
There was a player
who
who was
lost.
there was a player who was killed by a referee at a Brazilian game a year ago
Yeah.
because he got red carded out of the game, and then the player ran up to the ref. The ref actually punched the player, and in the parking lot after the game, the player ran up to the ref again, was like screaming at him and stuff like that, and the ref stabbed the player because he was just defending himself.
Oh my god.
They pulled him out and stabbed the guy, and the guy ended up dying. And when he died, they found the ref, killed him, cut his head off, and put it on a pole in the middle of the field.
Sorry. Okay.
That's 100% like a real thing that
Holy
happened.
shit.
So I don't think it's gonna be that bad for the.
I hope not.
But like
That'll sell
there's,
tickets.
There's a lot of like South American countries that where soccer or football is so corrupt in the main scheme of things. Not the players. The players go and try their hardest and play because they love the game and they're good at it. But it's in the ownerships and the people who are betting on all these games and everything.
Yeah.
And that's you were talking about the player who was killed. I think you're talking about Andres Escobar, who's a Colombian player.
Okay.
After the
that was who I was speaking of.
yeah, who scored an own goal and then when he went home to Colombia, was killed outside of a nightclub like a couple weeks later.
And they take that shit seriously.
Yeah.
They really do. So the whole eyes of the world are watching them, and they just the whole eyes were watching California this weekend as California Chrome lost the Kentucky Derby in what some were calling an upset, and some were saying it was
The
historic.
Belmont Stakes.
Oh, so what was the deal?
So there's 3 races
Right.
that they race. It starts with the Kentucky Derby, and then like 2 weeks later it's the Preakness, and then a couple weeks later, it's the Belmont Stakes. And they're all, I mean, Kentucky's obviously in Kentucky. I don't know where the Preakness is, and the Belmont Stakes is in New York. But California Chrome was, I think, the 12th horse to have won the first two and then lost the third race.
At fourth place, right? Neck and neck, fourth place.
He got fourth place, and that's usually what seems to happen at this time because it's extremely hard for anyone to ever win all three races.
Right.
Because back in the day, the race is the same. Like the Belmont Stakes is a longer race, and horses are kind of, you figure out they're good for running certain distances. So it's like once someone figures out like, oh, our horse is good at running a mile, they just run it in the mile because it's going to be the best for it. Belmont Stakes is like a mile and a half or something. So it's a longer race, and it was against all these horses that have not run in the other two races.
Yeah, so they're fresh legs.
Yeah, so they have fresh legs, and it's also 3 races within a month and a half of each other, which usually horses don't do. Like, you have a horse that wins your race, that won you like $1 million, something like that, you let it rest for a little bit. You don't put it right back out there a week later. Some people do, like owners obviously all do that stuff differently.
Right.
But most people let it wait a little bit and only run it a couple times because the horse is going to get tired.
Right. And I guess the big controversy over this is that one of the owners of California Chrome, or the Chrome, after losing that last race, was pretty angry and upset about it, and instead basically just put down the winner of the race by saying, it was a coward's way out. If they were going to do it and going to win this, then they were smart not to race their horse in these other races because now they come in here fresh, and he was pissed. And he ended up having to apologize earlier today because it was unsportsmanlike, I guess, in a sense. I guess I could see his frustration. But was he right?
Like, I haven't seen the clip, and I was talking to a couple of my bartenders about this. He's not wrong. A lot of people feel the same way about it, that it is kind of weird that, like, you have this thing, and, like, it should be the same horses that run all three.
Right.
In my opinion, or at least, like, okay, there's these 20 horses that can run it, only 10 are able to run the first one or whatever. Like, and you figure it out, and the same horses at least are running races at those times. But as an owner, you need to, and someone in the spotlight and everything like that, your horse already won 2 races, you made a lot of money off it. They only paid $2,500 for this horse. Mm-hmm. And they've won millions off of it. And the horse is a wide known name now and everything like that. And so at that point, like, he should have just been like, you know what? It's been an awesome ride. Thank you guys for the support and everything like that.
Now he's got everyone against him.
And we thank congratulations to the winner. That's all he had to say.
But
and then later on, he could have brought this up.
But to be fair, he could have not raced Chrome in at least one of those other races too, right?
He didn't have to. But obviously, he's going to try to win the Triple Crown.
So it's kind of like he's crying about something he had some control over in a sense.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like no one's won the Triple Crown since the 70s. There's like 3 horses did it in the 70s, and no one's done it since.
Yeah, it's been a while.
There's been more than 3 that have done it, but that's the last time it was done.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Right.
Seabiscuit did not do it. People keep saying that Seabiscuit did not win the Triple Crown. Secretariat did, which are different horses.
I'm sure those are movie titles or something.
There's movies about both horses.
I remember seeing them. I really don't know anything about horse racing.
I love going to. Do you guys go to the races?
I've been like twice, but it's always before the Weezer concert.
The what?
The Weezer concert.
No. It was funny when I mentioned.
Never been?
No, when I mentioned this story on Facebook, I was surprised that there was a couple of people who were a little disappointed in me because to them it's animal abuse.
See, I used to feel very similar to that I didn't want to see the horses get whipped and everything like that, but it's really like not as bad as you originally imagined it before you go. Mm-hmm. They're not hitting the horses the whole time. In reality, they're really only hitting them with the riding crop at the very end of the race, and they're trying to run faster. And it's not as, like, they're not ever beat up by it or anything like that. Like, there's still things that I do think that I don't like about the sport, like that sometimes when a horse, like, breaks its leg, they will put it down. And those things, like, you can't control or anything. But
How
that's
often does that happen?
That's up to the owners because they can keep the horse.
Yeah.
But
even with a broken leg, I thought that was like something that couldn't be.
no,
repaired.
they can. It's not going to race anymore, but you can still keep the horse alive. You don't have to kill it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's just.
I remember watching Little House on the Prairie when I was a little kid, and their horse had to be put down, and he was not a racer.
You can put a cast on it and everything, and it'll heal. It just won't ever be strong enough to race again.
Laura Ingalls was all upset, and little baby Carrie was. No, I think that they do have to die if they break the leg.
No.
I thought something about how their bone structures, because they always have to stand.
They can wear like casts and things like that.
Maybe they didn't have a cast on
Wasn't
the
there a
House of
horse
Prairie.
that we were all watching a couple years ago with that same situation? They had a cast and raw. Everyone was like all.
It was a horse that won the Kentucky Derby and then hurt itself during the Preakness.
Okay.
And people were like, "Oh, is it gonna like? Are they gonna put it down or anything?" And I don't think they did. I think they just kept it alive because people know the horse now. Like, it happens, but most of the time.
You're so funny. You're like glaring. You're like, no, they have to die.
Most of the time, I think that they do sell. They can even sell it to like ranches and kids and stuff. Like, and it's just gonna be it's gonna be a pet at that point. But the races themselves are definitely fun and entertaining to go to. To just go but you have to go with people you want to go with, and just go and drink and cheer for something that really doesn't matter. And you put like $5 down, so it's like, oh yeah, like I'm betting, but you're not gonna really lose. There's people who like do it too much and lose tons of money there, but there's also people who walk away winning a lot of money there.
No.
But it costs so much to drink and eat there that if you better be winning. If you're losing while you're paying for food and stuff, it's a sad day.
Chrome, you had a good ride. Hope you come back and let's finish this next time. Get 3 in a row. Well, with that, we're gonna take a break and continue on with some hot topics. So, did you hear the news about our new neighbor in Hillcrest, North Park?
No, do tell.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that little church that's over there over the bridge. So you go from North Park to Hillcrest on University.
Yes.
There's the big Georgia Bridge is historical. Okay,
Yep.
there's a church up there where we usually used to vote at. That church has been taken over now by an evangelical Southern Baptist convention style congregation. So we now have a congregation, in their own words, who say they are now established in a dark neighborhood.
They did it on purpose.
During dark times. And so this group is known for being, they've already taken a stand against same-sex marriage. And when I was talking to the hubby about this earlier, he made a good point. Like, well, they're going to have fun in 2 months or a month.
Yeah.
Pride rolls around. So what do you think? What do you think about that coming into our neighborhood?
I think people need to find better things to do with their lives than make other people feel bad.
And I just hope that, like, people in the community, I know it's going to make people angry and upset and stuff, but I hope that they don't do anything that's going to get them into trouble, like, against the church or, like, in the middle of the night, like, trying to set it on fire or
like they did
graffiti.
the old witness hall.
Yeah,
years
like
ago.
that kind of stuff. Like, just let them sit over there in their dark little corner and just...
I get that,
know. I
but
just
what
don't
if
want
they
anybody to
start?
get in trouble over
But what
it.
if they start doing like stuff outside their, like on the sidewalk and stuff? I mean, they have a free right to do so.
Yeah.
But that's not gonna make me very happy. I'll tell you that if I see it, even if it is legal,
Yeah.
and it is free country to speak their mind. And as we've seen through all the other episodes, I usually do kind of take some of the anti-gay sentiment sides on this sometimes with their free speech. But now it's in my neighborhood, and I can tell you that I probably would say this: I would respond in kind if I was ever dealt anything.
Don't you think, though, that that's what they're trying to engage, like, egg people on and, like, get them to get angry and stuff? It's kind of, if that's what's going to happen.
I mean, because
We
they're not
don't know.
Westboro.
We have no idea.
Yeah,
Exactly. They're not Westboro,
Westboro.
but, like, if they said those things, like a dark neighborhood and, like, dark times.
Yeah, it's in the
whatever,
news
like,
article
and they're,
about it.
like,
It's
trying to
right-
push buttons.
Yeah, I was
you
gonna say,
know?
I was like, we'll see what happens, but if it's already come out that we already know what's gonna happen, like, it's upsetting, but hopefully they just do their thing or whatever, and everyone's able to just ignore them and they're gone in a year or whatever.
It just blows my mind that there are not only that there are people. I understand those people because I used to be like them, but it just blows my mind that it would grow into of all places, Hillcrest, North Park. Like, why would you want to set up a
They did it on purpose.
Because we're one of the like best like gay cities in the United States. Isn't there like a list that like just came out like a week or two ago? I didn't read the whole thing, but like we're up there.
Seattle was #1 or something? How
Yeah, right? What was that?
weird. Sorry, Seattle.
But anyways,
but
you
no.
know, it's a.
I know. So one of the positions that the Southern Baptists are known for, and we don't know for sure if this church is in line with that or not, is they support reparative therapy, fix the gay kind of
Pray
mentality.
the gay away.
Yeah, pray the gay away, fix the gays and stuff like that. And I've heard that local activist Sean Sala was reaching out to the pastor to probably open up some dialogue to find out where their actual stance is, because he kind of wants, wants to know what we're dealing with. And I respect anyone that's going to do that. So Sean, more power to you. Good on you, trying to reach out and figure out what we're dealing with. But this issue of reparative therapy has come up big time in the news as recently as last week, when the Texas GOP's platform made that part of their political goal is to support reparative therapy in Texas. So it seems to have taken the country by surprise, because I thought we were kind of getting past reparative therapy in a way. What do you think about it? I mean,
it's reparative therapy is. I almost find it hilarious because it's like the stupidest thing in the world. Like, it's like, oh, we're just gonna pray, and who you are completely is gonna be different, and never true. Like, so if you put someone in a room for long enough by themselves and you keep telling them that they're not gay anymore over and over and over again, you might be able to convince them. It's the same thing with like, you could do that with anything. You put someone in a room and scream anything at them for a while and they're gonna switch. It's just so ridiculous, like, because it's not, you can't change the way someone is, the way they are at their core, and just the whole idea behind it is just so idiotic. It's just ridiculous to me. But
so then how does someone like Antoine Dodson do it?
everyone already knows Antoine Dodson's stupid.
He
Like,
just
I'm
wants
sorry.
attention.
Like, when you saw that first video that he came out in, it was like,
Hide your
hide
wives,
your kids,
hide
hide your
your
wives. They're
husbands.
raping everybody up here. Like, what? No one says that to anyone. Like, let alone to the news. And they made like an auto-tuned song out of it, which is hilarious. But Antoine Dodson is just someone who was unfortunately led astray by people who are trying to lead him in the correct way.
But the group that led him away from supposedly fixed him isn't a normal mainstream Christian group. It's more like a Panther-esque type. They're more in tune with. They're very religious, but they're very racial. They believe in Black power, and that homosexuality is brought on the black man by the white demon sort of thing. So Antoine Dodson, the reason his name is coming up against, because recently he had made a comment about that now that he's no longer gay and is having presumably sex with a woman, he's now saying that if he had a baby boy who was gay, he would still love him, but would try to convince him not to be gay, or would try to fix him.
It's still harmful, even if he still loves him. It's just harmful. The whole thing is just
It's just,
horrible.
but the whole idea, and then when you got like a state that's embracing that concept in their platform, such as the GOP in Texas, what is, that is probably one of the dumbest things I think a political organization could do at this moment in history. I mean, Texas is red still, but if this is something that's going to turn people off, I would think it's telling people, first of all, the abortion issue is still a hot topic, but the reparative therapy to me is even worse, because that really just screws people up who are living and who are going to continue living and continue messing up because of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't Texas I don't know which city, but doesn't one of the Texas cities have like a really big like gay population?
Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio's got a large population,
Really? Yeah.
but Houston is one of the largest gay populations in the United States. Dallas is close behind. And all 4 major cities in Texas, including Austin, they have very strong anti-gay discrimination laws in place. So it's just like, again, like I said, it's amazing that the GOP platform would just do something that it's completely going backwards. It's 2014. It's not 1992 when this came up in the first place. So I'm just.
Texas sucks.
It can.
Does and like my brother's going there soon, so
Oh, what's he going there for?
he's going to Texas A&M, which is at least like College Station's a little small town. It's just the college campus really, so it's probably a little different than the rest of Texas. But
Yeah, my friend
We'll
just
see.
moved out there a couple years ago.
What was that?
My friend just moved out there a couple. My best friend just moved out there a couple years ago, and when she told me, I was like, but why?
I mean, it's funny like how different Texas and California are when they're like two of the biggest like
Yes,
states.
they
you know
are
what I
very
mean,
different.
population-wise and everything. And it's so, and yeah, we're what 12 hours apart, driving-wise or whatever. But like,
19.
just is it not?
Well, to El Paso is 12.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
That's what I was saying to the state.
Sorry, I'm thinking San Antonio. San Antonio.
But yeah, it's just so the mindsets are just so different about a lot of things, and it's very interesting. Like when you realize how different this country is from coast to coast, and every state really is different. And obviously, it's person to person. But like when you go by the majority of the way the state votes on things, it feels. I mean, Arizona's closer to us, and they're even worse. But
Right. So, well, good luck to you, Texas. Figure it out. You know,
Get your
Get
shit
your
together.
shit
figure
together.
it
Exactly
out,
what I
yeah.
was gonna say.
And then maybe we'll come back and spend some money
Yeah.
there at some point.
then I'll go to Austin City Limits Music Festival.
Oh, that's a lot of fun, though. It is.
I want to go.
Tracy Chapman in Austin City Limits was fucking awesome. It really was.
Come on.
Oh, I miss Tracy Chapman too. Okay, so I took some time and watched our sister show. He Said, She Said with Aaron and Ophelia. And I was interested this time because they had been posting all week about how Ophelia was all worked up about the PC police and the whole issue of the Colorado baker that happened last week. If you don't remember or if you lost track of that, we did talk about this about 6 months ago. There was a gay couple in the state of Colorado who sued a baker who refused to provide them their wedding cake. And so it had gone up into lawsuit territory, and the lawsuit was finally settled last week with the gay couple winning the lawsuit, and the bakery saying, well, fine. They decided, they were trying to figure out if they wanted to appeal the law or not. Their decision at this point was, we're just not gonna make cakes then.
So they're
We're not gonna make cakes. We'll do other things online. We'll still make other stuff, but we're not doing wedding cakes for anybody.
wow.
So, and I noticed that on the He Said, She Said, when they were discussing it, Ophelia made a lot of good points.
Okay.
I have to say I agree with almost everything she said. I think that, and I think Dustin brought this up last time too, that why would you want to go to someone who doesn't want to serve you in the first place?
Yeah.
You know, why would you want to give them your money or your business and do anything for them?
Yeah.
And that kind of is what Ophelia was saying there. The thing that I disagreed with on that was, well, where do you draw the line? Like, for instance, me and Trent are going to go to New York next in a few weeks.
Okay.
We're staying at a bed and breakfast. There's nothing on the bed and breakfast website that says really anything about the owners. So, you know, I always have that kind of slight worry in my head because my name's Lee, and everything is on the credit card is Lee. My emails correspond as Lee. I don't put my middle name, Lee Adam. So there are times where people might think that Lee is a girl.
Okay.
So they see Lee and Trent, and so now I'm like, I'm probably worried about nothing because it is New York,
Yeah, it's New York.
but it's Niagara. So if you haven't been in Niagara, it's a lot different than New York City.
Okay.
What's gonna happen when we get there? And according, you know, based on Ophelia's logic, they should and could refuse service to me and Trent because we're gay, because that's what their concept is about. So what would a person do if they got to a place like that and were just left out in the cold because they have no other options? Hotel space is limited at that week too because it's leading up to July 4th.
I mean, it's a very interesting topic altogether on its own. Just of the right to refuse service to anyone and things like that. I'm 100% going to say it's not right, the right way of thinking or anything like that, to refuse service, like whether it be a hotel or a cake or anything like that. But the hotel's a little different, I feel like, because everyone should be able to stay at a hotel. That's a completely different thing compared to making a cake for someone's wedding, especially because my ex-girlfriend makes cakes for weddings. It is not an easy one time you talk to them once kind of thing. It is like you're working together.
Right.
You're talking about the types of cake, how you're going to do it and everything. It takes months. And if someone's uncomfortable being in a situation with a gay couple, which I'm still saying is not correct, should they have the right to be like, you know what, like, I'm not comfortable with this, please go get your cake somewhere else?
Right.
That's a little different than saying, no, don't shop in my store or anything like that. Because it's not like they said you can't buy anything from us. They just said they didn't want to make like a wedding cake.
Right.
And which is why this why the situation's so strange. I definitely am glad that they won the lawsuit and everything, but at the same time, like, it's like I said before, why would you want to go support that person? Like, I know, and say you guys go there and you do find out that it's an anti-gay establishment, and they ask you to leave. You're gonna be pissed and potentially, hopefully bring up a lawsuit against it. At the same time, you're not gonna bring up a lawsuit to try to stay there still.
Well, yeah.
You're gonna go.
That would take months to settle anyway.
You're gonna go, but you're gonna go stay somewhere else. You don't ever want to stay there again. It's just the
5-star hotels. I can get reimbursed for that from
the rudeness of how they treated
person
you
that
with their
lawsuit.
back-asswards thinking.
Right.
And it's just, which is why this whole situation is very strange. But I don't really know 100% how I feel about it one way or another.
How do you feel about it, Courtney?
And like, I don't know. I feel like I probably wouldn't have even gone through like the trouble of like a lawsuit or whatever. I would have just been like, I probably would have like informed
Inform them?
Like, you made a face and I wasn't sure if it was at me or if you were. I was like, good God, I didn't see anything that bad. I just wouldn't think I would have gone through like the trouble of it.
Right.
I probably would have like maybe wrote a bad, a review or whatever, and like let people know. I would have let people know and stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But I don't know if I would have gone
too.
through like the whole lawsuit thing. But okay, they did, and they won or whatever.
They won.
And now the company's butthurt, and they're not gonna do like wedding cakes anymore. Like, okay, whatever.
And I guess where
they're gonna lose a lot of business still.
Which is the only way for them to really not be forced into doing something they don't want to do.
But
it's stupid because there's definitely losing income. Like not making now where's this place at?
Colorado.
Is gay marriage legal there?
No.
It's not legal.
No.
So
I'm about to touch on that too because that's really good. You're making a good point. You're leading to a good
Colorado
place.
is moving forward with a lot of things, so I do think it's something that will happen there soon and everything. But it's
on
just
appeal. That's where
it's sooner or later you have to evolve with the times, especially as a business.
Yeah.
Like you need to hold your personal stuff aside as a business person, but I don't know. It's
I guess
real weird.
Where I'm coming from, and this is where I'm going to object and I make real specific points. So if Ophelia, if you're watching this, with all due respect, I just want you to know where I'm coming from with this. Why I think you're wrong, and this is why I think you're wrong. The whole reason we have the Commerce Clause that was in the 60s, the Civil Rights Act that occurred was because of the Commerce Clause, and that was the federal government could regulate what happened when someone was traveling between states, because a lot of lodging was not being made available to black people who were truck drivers, and they had to work across state lines, and because of that, they could not go to hotels because the hotels and motels at the time were whites or segregated. Because of things like that, that's when the Civil Rights Act came out to try to address those situations because it was wrong. Now, in regards to the Colorado case, this is where my point with Ophelia is. Number one, it's Colorado law. It's not a federal law. It is a Colorado law that's been on the books for over a decade that says that a business in the state cannot deny service based on sexual orientation.
Okay.
This law was passed by the representatives of the people who put them in office. So if the people did not want this law or were angry or upset about their lawmakers making laws like this in the first place, they would have not put them in a governing position where they're at. Two, I personally probably, I don't know, maybe I would not want my money going to someone who didn't want my money in the first place because I'm not the type of person who's going to go sit in someone's office once or twice a week with someone I can't stand in the first place. Period.
Yeah.
But in this case, maybe someone had to take a stand and make it clear to everyone else who's going to come afterwards that you can't do this in the state. Period.
Yeah.
And someone had to set the bar. So in this case, I can say yes. I maybe would not have gone as far as they did, but I think they did the right thing because now everyone in Colorado, every business in Colorado knows that they can't discriminate because it's the law. It's Colorado law. It's not federal law. It's Colorado law. And that's the only part that I have any contention with anything that Ophelia said. Everything else I thought she was dead on. You know, we're moving forward. Gay marriage, she said she wasn't a great advocate for gay marriage in the first place, but she wasn't against it. You know, if you wanted to do it, then do it. And I was exactly the same way too. I was not really on the gay marriage bandwagon either until about a year after I had met Trent. Then I was like, well, you know, it just didn't make any sense to me. And so, you know, my opinion's changed on that. But, you know, I love Ophelia. She does really well.
No, everything you just said makes sense, and like I definitely maybe you know what, maybe I would have gone through with the lawsuit because I wasn't even thinking about the law and everything.
You know, what if you're a black man in New York trying to get a taxi? What if a taxi says, "I'm not going to pick you up because you're black"? Mm-hmm. You know, there's little things like that. You know, somewhere there's a line, and so we shouldn't be saying this business can do it, this business can't, this business can do it, this business can't, because who can figure it out?
That's good. You're right.
So that's where I'm at, and I guess producer Ray is jumping up and down because we probably have to take a break or something. So, should we take a break?
Sure.
Let's take a break.
All right.
We'll be right back. So yeah, the whole thing with the Colorado bakery is just, you know, I would hate to go to the Salton Sea and
Okay.
not get a room.
Okay, so during the break, I
to the
told
Salton
this.
Sea.
Yes, that's the whole point of my
Tilapia
story.
heaven.
During the break, I told them the story. I think it was like a year and a half ago or 2 years. I don't even remember when it was. I blocked it out of my memory basically. But Gary and I were gonna go on like a little like mini road trip for the weekend and stay the night somewhere. And he decided to take us out to the Salton Sea. It was awful, but we stayed at like a quote unquote like bed and breakfast type place. We were staying in this like guys. I swear it was like his guest room. It was really shady. Salton Sea is really shady in itself. But when we pulled up and like the guy was there with his family and stuff, it just kind of got like a weird vibe or whatever, and I wasn't sure if it was because Gary was black and I was white, or I don't know what it was, but I didn't sleep like the whole night. I just like lay there in the bed like totally awake the whole time, like listening everything, and then the next morning we like peeled out, and as we were like leaving, I could see the guy like standing on his like doorstep like this. It was really creepy. So that's why I was thinking of your story when you were talking about what will happen when you guys go to New York. I was like, oh shit, it could happen to us too because we're an interracial couple. Not saying that like we have more.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like not on the same level, but it's discrimination nonetheless.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's all discrimination. Discrimination. It really doesn't matter, in my opinion, which way it goes, whether it be off of sexual orientation, race, sex, whether you're female, everything like that. Like it's always a problem in my mind, and it's never correct. But it's really weird. Like it's a very strange because at the same time, someone is allowed to their own opinion and thoughts on things, whether or not it's the correct way. But when it comes to business, they do need to put that aside and just run a business. And I mean, like, the guy didn't do anything other than be creepy about it. So he was obviously.
But maybe everybody in this whole that Salton Sea is creepy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So did you do a scan on the room when you got there and check anything? I always do that when I go to hotel
Like
rooms.
check for what?
I don't know.
There's a movie Vacancy.
When I go into a hotel,
Yeah.
if I've never been there before, I get on the bed and I check the ceilings. I go into the fire alarm things. I look in there, make sure there's nothing hidden in there.
Oh, shit.
I go through all the air conditioning vents and make sure there's nothing hidden in there. I'm freaked out by hotel rooms that I don't know.
When I go to a hotel room, I jump on the bed. That is what I do, and then I like start drinking because usually
I check under the bed for corpses. I always double check.
Where are you staying?
Yeah, what the hell?
You know, because they're always made out of. They always have hotel the boxes under the bed. You rarely find a hotel that's
corpse?
got. No, but that's where they can hide it. It's under there, and I always look for the dead prostitute because there's that urban legend of the dead prostitute in the hotel room, and that I freak out. It really does. And then,
have you ever been in one that was like really like you felt like you needed to check out before you even like?
Did I, Asbear? Huh? Say your question again.
Have you ever like got into a hotel room and then decided like I can't stay here, like felt like you needed to leave?
Has that happened?
No. This last time we went to Palm Springs, we took the cheapest hotel that came up on Expedia or Kayak or something. And when we got there, when I saw all the old people in the next rooms next to us, nothing against old people, but they were like sitting in the doorway, like reading actual newspapers, sitting there in the doorway.
Heaven forbid.
It was like no. And we walked in, literally, like you turned the water on the shower, that water was just jumping out in beads of jet water. It was a horrible hotel. It really was. And then like the toilet teetered when you were just like sitting on that.
I hate that.
It was like Cocoon. It was bad. There was
that
many old people there.
We stayed at one once when I don't remember. It was here in San Diego. It was when like I was still living in LA and he was still living in LA when we'd come down here. I don't remember which one it was now. I'll have to think about it. But like before we even got to the door was like open. It wasn't closed, and we were like, oh, what the hell? So we had Gary go in like first and like check everything out. And, like there was nothing. Then when we were like laying in the bed up on the ceiling, we could see like graffiti and stuff. And I was like, ah!
Producer Ray likes to look into rooms with hotel rooms that have the doors open.
Might as well.
According to him, it's an invitation.
That's how you see interesting things.
He says it's an invitation to the show.
We were watching Garden State last night. Have you both seen Garden State?
Yes.
We've seen this movie a bajillion times. But there's a part where they walk into a hotel and they go in this like secret door and they can see into all the rooms. There's like little holes in all the rooms and like there's weird creepy men that have paid to go in there and like watch the people have sex in the rooms. And I'm always like, does that hallway really exist?
I look for holes in the wall. I move the pictures over. I do everything like that. I
feel like I don't want to sound like snobby or anything like that, but I feel like I try to stay at like nice hotels, so I don't.
Even
have to, like,
at nice hotels, I do that.
If I'm at like a 4 or 5 star hotel, like I don't.
This was supposed to be a nice.
Even at the Hilton, I do that. I do. Even when you go into my apartment, you'll notice all my cameras. Like the iPad right now is uncovered because I have it open, but I cover everything. I cover my phone camera. I cover my camera on my computers. I cover it on Trent's computer when he's not there. Because, and then they just had a report came out last week that there are hacks that are in the system that are there to watch people like using the toilet. So all you see are people standing up, cleaning themselves because they put their shit on the floor. So
I'm gonna go back to my old phone that didn't have a camera.
I know, it's horrible.
Just put it in your pocket. You're
Yeah,
setting
it
your,
was-
you're setting your camera on the floor and
This
you're
was
getting
what
up
the
on the
news article was
toilet, like
talking
you're
about.
already
It was
kind
like,
of. I feel like you're probably filming that yourself already.
Ooh, it's like squatter. Oh, okay. So another interesting thing, back to the he said, she said thing, they asked a good, nice question at the end was, what does pride mean to you? And I was thinking that'd be a kind of interesting question for us because we've got 2 straighties, breeders. And I'm cisgender apparently or something.
Yeah, we're all 3 of us are cisgender.
We're cisgenders. Yay. We're the cisgender sisters. And
it's our new band name.
I know. So what does pride mean to you? I was always trying to think about that, and I'm curious because I want to know what does it really mean to you? Don't try to get too sentimental about it. I want you to really think about how it impacts you because you're not gay, but you have a lot of connection with the gay community. So, Courtney, what do you think? What does gay pride really mean to you?
I was asked this question a few years ago when I was in one of the magazines or in the newspaper, like as a straight ally, like what does it mean to you or whatever. I wish I like had my answer to really great because it was really good and I like edited it and stuff, but now I'm off the, okay. Sorry. I think pride for me, I have pride in the fact that like I'm out supporting my LGBT friends and brothers and sisters, and I have pride in seeing how far like the movement has come and knowing that I've been like part of it for at least, you know, a little while and stuff, and pride in seeing everybody else's like pride,
Right.
I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. The end.
So it's an interesting question. So this is my 8th Pride, San Diego Pride Festival, being a part of in some way. Obviously, I started working here since I turned 21, and so I really do mostly see just the bar side of it. But at the same time, I've been in the parade like 3 times on our float, and just like it's so like it's such a warm feeling, really, the whole weekend. And from every person you talk to in any kind of interaction, it is just everyone has pride in each other, is the way I take it. It's not gay versus straight or anything like that. It is this community all together, and it makes it so much fun, and you get to see people who don't come out all the time come out and have a good time, whether it be during the day, at the festival. And I mean, you get to see all of the other like straight allies who aren't in this community really and don't come as often, who come and support and bring their families and kids and line the streets during the festival. And they're all out there waving rainbow flags and cheering every single float that goes by, not just the ones they know.
Right.
And then there's the festival itself as well, but it's really not about any particular thing. Like, to me, like Pride weekend is about, from person to person, how everyone treats each other and the way the whole community is able to have like a really good and fun time together.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot. For me, Pride is like a Jekyll and Hyde, because I love and I hate it. And I say this because when I first started going to my very first Pride was in San Antonio, and it was more like, it was one of the city parks, and kind of like how Balboa is here, but it's a much smaller park over there. And there maybe at one point may have been maybe 200 or 300 people at a time, whereas here there's thousands of people at Pride. So it was a very small event. And back in that day, my very first Pride that I went to in San Antonio was 1992, 93. And it was very, very sparse. And I remember thinking there wasn't much to it, but I had to be there because back in that time, San Antonio, the gay community was starting to thrive, and I wanted to be a part of it. I was very proud that I was the gay voice for a lot of places that I was at in my circle of friends, because I was the only gay person. At work, I was the only out gay person. So there was a lot of fun in that at that time. And I guess now I feel bad that a big part of that is gone. It's no longer that exclusivity that we used to have is no longer there. And that's a good thing too. But it is, you kind of miss it, because what kind of brought the gay community and our straight allies together back then was we really were persecuted a lot. There was never a weekend that I didn't go out and we didn't hear about a hate crime happening outside the club, and the police adding to it by saying, are you sure you want us to write a report because you're a fag or you're doing this and maybe you weren't doing, they weren't very helpful back then. And things have changed. I guess Pride is different for me now. I'm proud because I'm glad to see all the work that we all put in, all of us together, has made this huge thing that's happening in San Diego. I feel bad that a lot of the people who are now coming into the experience of Pride, the teenagers and the youngins and all the youngins, sorry, they don't have any emotional investment of what it took to get here. It's, they don't see the daily beatings happening anymore. They don't see that if you got caught speeding or something and the cop happened to notice you were gay, your name went into the newspaper the very next day as suspected homosexual. Those things, they don't have that anymore. And so I guess a lot of them, I'm happy. You don't want people to be growing up like that either.
Yeah.
But it's different. And I'm being positive the way I am. I'm glad, and I can't wait to see what our next challenge is going to be for us to fight together. But I do miss a little bit of that stuff. And
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome that obviously this community's past all that, but at the same time, like, the younger generation needs to know what happened, and they need to know their history and go out and celebrate what the community has done for them to be able to live the way they want to. And like, because at this point, like, at least like in California, like as a state, like gay marriage is legal, and you don't see the abuse or anything like that, or the hate as much. I know there's still people out there that do it, and obviously with this church coming to the community and everything, we're going to see what happens. But it's come so far that they really are able to just be themselves freely, and everyone loves them for it. Right. And they just need to appreciate what people have done for them in the past.
On Friday night when I was at the youth center, some of the people from San Diego Remembers came to talk about the event and ask if any of the youth wanted to help or participate or whatever. And, you know, San Diego Remembers, they do the Remembering Matthew Shepard event every October. And they had asked all the youth who knows who Matthew Shepard was, and it was like less than half had raised their hand, and I was just like, oh, like, this was the whole reason I got involved in the LGBT community was because of Matthew Shepard and stuff. And so it, like, kind of made me sad that some of them don't know who he is, and like, I mean, I guess that's the whole point of like remember Matthew Shepard, but still, like.
And Matthew Shepard was such a watershed moment because at that time when his tragedy occurred was around the same time that America Online was just starting to become a big. They were like on their 4th or 5th update. Computers were just coming out, and that was one of the very first activist things that I ever did was emailing. I just went through all the different gay M for M chat rooms that were in different cities, and I just started emailing strangers saying, this is what happened to this guy, you know, we can't let this happen anymore, why are we standing by? And I remember Matthew Shepard was a big wake-up call, and it makes me a little nervous that people are forgotten or forgetting. Yeah. And that makes me scared that people are just going to keep forgetting until something worse happens again to remind us.
Hopefully not.
You got to stay vigilant on that. And I just, you know, hey, we're all in this together. And that's what the show is about, because we sometimes disagree, but at the end of the day, we're all about self-respect and respecting each other and getting those things. And I think in that in itself, I'm proud. I'm proud for it. And I'm go on, San Diego. San Diego Pride's coming up in 3 weeks. I think it's right after Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's it's before. It's the 17th.
The 17th.
17th is the Thursday.
They posted, Pride posted today, it was like 37 days. You know, they posted a little countdown.
So it's 37 days from today?
Like 37 or 39. It was one of those two.
Oh,
it is literally going to come so quick for me because I'm a huge soccer fan. The World Cup starts Thursday, and it ends like a couple days before Pride. So it's like I'm going to be watching literally soccer games basically every day, and then it's going to be Pride, and well, then my birthday is in there too. But
Yay.
It'll be fun.
So any events at the Brass Royal? Anything coming up?
We have our World Cup kickoff party this Saturday.
Woohoo!
It's Sábado and Fuego goes to Brazil. There's going to be a food truck here and some live Brazilian dancers, and we're raffling off.
Where are you putting a food truck?
Right here.
Right at the bank?
No, just right on the street.
Oh, okay.
And then we're raffling off a Mexico jersey, and all the proceeds are going to our AIDS Walk team.
Very cool.
Which has started signing up.
And people can sign up for that on, is it
for
brassroyal.com? Or
if they want to sign up, if they want to join or donate to the AIDS Walk team, they can do that through the center's website right now. We will put a link up on our personal website, which is thebrassroyalsd.com. And then the He Said, She Said team, I believe, is also going to have a team again this year. And their website is hsss.tv.
Our websites are so difficult for me. I'm sorry.
I got it for you. It could be so much simpler. It should be like he shed.
We're done. Oh, this Saturday's also out at the fair if anybody's gonna go.
Out at the fair for
Denmark?
I wish it was on a weekend. Like I wish it was on a weekday.
Wasn't it on a weekday last year? Yes, because I missed Adam Lambert for it because I was at camp.
Yeah, it was on a Tuesday last year. Because Adam Lambert reported on
Still
Tuesday.
bitter about
because
that.
we did the whole Lamberts, like their big fan group came in here on the Monday before.
Oh, were you there with them?
I was at camp that week.
Oh, band camp?
Trans camp.
Oh. Okay.
So it was. I mean, I wish it was on a weekday because I feel like more people could go. Because everyone who, I mean, you can go during the day still, I guess, but can't go at night if you have to come back and work in the community. And
this is true.
Everyone who goes out on Saturday nights.
I think I'll be there. Yeah.
Most people.
At one of the P flag booths, and that's
At the fair?
Yeah.
Oh.
Cool. But I think a lot of our local DJs are playing there too.
Yeah.
On that
they
day,
don't
so it
have
should be
a
really
big.
cool.
They don't have a big performer like Adam this year.
And Manic
He's getting
Mondays.
ready to tour with Queen. He's busy.
And don't forget Manic Mondays every Monday night here at the Brass Rail. Get down with the 80s. And do they play any 90s?
80s and 90s now, and we still got our $2 drinks.
Well, that was good. We got some good topics. Hopefully, Ophelia won't be. If you do, Ophelia, bring it up on your show. I'd love to have some back and forth. We'd love to hear what you're thinking.
It's all him. It's all him.
But we're signing out tonight, and we will see you next week. Good night, guys.